I'm going to share with you undeniable truths that we are not free in this country that we call America, the home of the free, we the people, for the people. Well, I can go pretty deep into this subject and I can provide hundreds of examples. I'm going to provide three main examples that I consider to be very revelatory for the world that we live in. And I want you to observe the mentality of those who call themselves law enforcement, not morality enforcement, not truth enforcement, but notice law enforcement. And when I say that, you should get flashbacks to, I don't know, something called World War II, where many people were following orders and carrying out totally immoral actions because the law said it was for them to do so. Their authority figures told them to do so. So they suppress their conscience and they don't think for themselves. You're going to see in all these examples exactly that. People not thinking for themselves and suppressing their own morality and then contributing to injustice. And no wonder then they don't want to speak to those who challenge them and say, "What are you doing here?" No, they'd rather be a robot, an NPC. And then you grow curious as we move into the age of AI and technology. And you see that people are working 9-to-5 jobs and it's like drudgery, and that's what we call slavery, drudgery. And there's people who talk about, how we kind of feel like we're slaves because we're so dependent on the systems that be and we feel like we can't escape. Well, you have a bunch of people who turn off their brain, who are coercing other people. And they don't call it kidnapping, they don't call it assault, they don't call it theft, but they're doing all those things under the name of authority, law, and government. What a hypocrisy this is. But let me not just explain it, let me show it. So before I show you those three examples, which I think are quite powerful, and you might know some of them, but you probably don't, because most of the news doesn't cover this type of stuff. Let me just share some obvious ones that you might know about, and this is a whole list that I've gathered. Notice how a plant like cannabis was made illegal, or how a nutritious drink like raw milk was made illegal. Most states of America, this is the case. Yet also notice how many people have sparked their creativity with cannabis, a plant, or healed their life with raw milk, something consumed for thousands of years. Is it a coincidence that these objects were made illegal or that they require permission to use despite being victimless behaviors, right? And we like to say, no victim, no crime. Well, how about this for you? A whole list. Collecting rainwater, going fishing, owning a property, starting a business, building a home, getting married, going hunting, owning a weapon, cutting hair, selling a product, doing a protest, selling food, feeding the homeless, exposing secrets, Edward Snowden, having a newborn baby, living without needing to go to war, conscription, using different forms of money, being able to travel, using different schooling options, living without needing to keep bills and receipts, being able to keep your own money, being able to live without vaccination or saying what you want. If you break any of these rules, you get locked up in a cage. Is this how we treat humankind? There are also compulsory rules concerning lawns. The simple lawn, grass, which could result in you losing your house. So simply ask yourself, why can't you live on your own land without paying the government? It is time we change this reality, and I have many solutions and many perspectives upon this, right? We've delved deep into the psychology of this through the Dr. Stanley Milgram experiments, the Stanford Prison experiments, and I encourage you to check out my other videos on these topics. But when I talk about losing your house due to a lawn, that's because the HOA has bylaws and municipal lawn ordinances that not only regulate how long and green grass can be, but what else can be planted in it. People can't even grow fruit trees because violating these rules can result in citations and fines, and if those pile up, you can even lose your house. And, again, raw milk has been used since the ancient times by Hippocrates, Galen, Pliny, and Varro. They've all used it. The Weston A. Price Foundation. They have tons of materials about how it can heal so many people. And you got even these cases here, these videos I'm going to show you, just think about it for yourself. You know, regardless of what I just said, maybe I'm getting a little emotional here because I care about humankind. And I'm not a robot, and I'm not an NPC. And as we move into the age of AI, I want to be more human and remain more of my nature, not less. So I care to express my emotions, but I don't want to get too emotional to where I'm not rational. I'm not thinking about things straight and through, because I don't want my emotions to dictate my actions. But at the same time, it is important that we have empathy for each other and that we understand, you know, each other's concerns. Why do people feel like they're not free? Why do people feel like they live in a tyrannical government? How is it that a government can go from we to people to one of the most tyrannical governments on earth, always at war, bombing other countries, stealing from their own populace, causing problems and propagandizing their own populace, MK Ultra, mind control experiments, and all sorts of weird things, Agent Orange, poisoning their own populace. I mean, goodness. This is not right. And I can give dozens of examples in history. U.S. Project Mockingbird and, you know, Operation Northwoods and Operation Paperclip. And you can just go on and on about this. Is this the world that you want to live in? Or do you want to live in a world where people don't have the power to do such great catastrophe to the whole host of humankind? Because there's still a great populace in Japan that's suffering from those nuclear bombs that we dropped on them without telling our own people in our own country, by the way, that we were developing those bombs. We told our own populace after the fact. Okay, if you want one example, there's dozens of examples. Let's see what else here. We got the Manhattan Project, which was responsible for that. Even just the Nazi delousing camps, right? I mean, the Nazis used as a justification the fact that they were treating lice and diseases as a means to say we should put people in concentration camps. Well, what about the fact that the United States had Japanese internment camps? Is that something to be concerned about? Be sure to watch to the end, and thank you very much for watching. At the end, I'll have a bunch of questions for you if you truly have an open mind and you want to free yourself. If you want freedom for everybody in the whole world, you need to make sure that you are free first.
You have a permit, right? No, sir. Can't be here.
Hail to the freedom! Woo!
Beautiful. There you are, dearie.
Have a lovely afternoon.
Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure.
Thanks a lot.
There's no vending on Capitol grounds. You guys are aware of that?
It's a free country, ma'am.
And you guys are continuing. Is
Do
that
you
right?
want lemonade? Yeah? Did you want a cup?
10 cents for some lemonade, guys.
2 more?
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your business.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Would you like a cup as well?
Yes, don't be intimidated. Don't be intimidated. Don't be intimidated by them.
How you doing? Don't take pictures.
Whoa, whoa! Hey!
Out of our face.
Private property, don't
You got that on camera.
That's assault.
Please don't break equipment, man.
Assaulted. Voluntary. Completely being hurt by
No money. No money. They want to give you something for free, they'll give it to you for free. Do not give them any money.
10 cents. 10 cents.
Don't give them any money.
We are free people.
Have a good afternoon.
This is vending without a permit. Get out of my face. Vending without a permit. So you guys want to be arrested for your cause of lemonade liberation.
Ma'am, come liberate the lemons.
Lemonade, 10 cents, guys.
10 cents lemonade. 10 cents lemonade. Come get your 10 cents lemonade while it's nice and cold. Do not use violence. Do not use violence and force against peaceful people.
Well, I have.
Ma'am, this is not an option anymore. You are under arrest. I need you to leave here. I'm sorry, you're under arrest.
Leave these people alone. Leave them alone.
I am getting arrested for selling lemonade. Do you guys have services?
Lemonade, 10 cents, guys. We've got a few cups
That's what
left.
happens when you sell lemonade.
I'm selling people.
Is there anything on you that can hurt me?
You people should be
Why do you feel my hands?
Lemonade is illegal to sell in America. Stop using force against peaceful people. I spent 14 months in Baghdad, and I can't even sell lemonade on public property.
No, make them not run! No, make them not run! No.
When they put it on me, I tell them this. I'm all about peace.
Martin Luther King and Muhammad Gandhi talked about such a thing. We're not free without anything.
Your tax dollars! No victims, no crime!
Nothing but kidnappers. Selling them things, not crime.
Segregation was a crime in the 50s. Would you enforce that law?
Unfortunately, I wouldn't be an officer back then at that time.
Exactly.
If it was, I would enforce it though.
You would enforce it?
Absolutely.
If you would enforce the segregation law?
I don't make the laws, I just enforce them, sir. The squabble's not with the police, it's with the lawmakers. I think it's absurd, and I'm sure most people do. Yeah. But I got a good job that pays me about 6 figures, and I'm not losing it, you know. They tell me, like, you got it. And I think it's absurd.
All right, so evidently our friend Mark Passio has been arrested. We don't know what for. We're going to try to find out. There he is, handcuffed. Okay. Our other friends are also handcuffed. Who's got some water?
For peacefully speaking and handing information to other people. These gentlemen have violated our constitutionally protected rights to free speech without cause.
Jim, I was trying to leave and they wouldn't let me leave. I stopped giving them out.
Peace officers across the street, do your duty!
And sisters.
Do your duty!
We're not against law enforcement.
You are not doing your duty, you are negligent of your duty,
This
sir!
is ridiculous. It really is.
Why has this man been arrested?
Peace officer to do their duty.
Is passing out flyers a
Our
crime?
rights are being violated.
Sir, just in case there's a witness.
I advise you take a step back, please.
Our rights are being violated. You are losing your constitutionally protected rights to freedom of speech.
Step back.
We were peacefully engaging people with information. Peacefully, which is our natural right to do
And then he
so.
started chasing me down the block as I tried to leave.
Which one chased you?
These individuals accosted us and are holding us against our will
that guy right
under
there?
duress.
That guy can run?
We harmed no other living individual.
Away calmly.
We have harmed
And then he
no
said that was
other
resisting.
living
Because I didn't
individual.
listen to him.
We
I
were
said I want to leave
speaking
and go
and
home.
peacefully
I didn't get out
engaging
any more of those
people,
flyers
which is our
than he said to.
constitutional
So you're passing out flyers, and that's why
In the
you've
cradle
been
of liberty,
detained here.
Yes.
Across from
And
Independence
I
Hall.
said that we're with
where
the
our
group and that
founders
perhaps,
died to
he said
protect our
perhaps
rights.
that you have a permit. And
you
I said,
people are standing there with
I wanted to go
cameras.
find out about the permit.
Doing
and then
nothing.
he started saying I couldn't leave.
Peace officers.
Officer, how do you feel about
Do
the
your
permit we have
duty.
over here for this rally?
Do your
No
duty.
comment.
What's the
Peace
charge?
Officers.
Have you been charged with anything?
No.
You're just
He
detained.
said,
We
he said
have
since
harmed
I,
none.
he said since I wouldn't
We have harmed none.
Since I wouldn't
and there are
stop,
witnesses.
Don't touch me.
Please move back. I'm
asking you to do something.
We wish to be let to go on our way peacefully, as we have harmed no other living being.
Is this why you got involved in the Park Service to arrest people for passing out flyers?
Apparently.
Your rights are.
You gonna go home and tell your kids about it?
To hurt people.
Demand that these people release us.
You guys gonna go update your Facebook profile and say, yeah, you handcuffed a couple of peaceful pamphleteers? You proud of that work?
The pamphlets we're giving out are to help all
This is our
Americans.
natural right. I do not need permission.
I mean,
to
you must feel a little bit
exercise
ashamed,
this
right?
Nor do you.
They're probably proud.
Use your common sense. Your common sense, not your regulations.
What's wrong with you people?
Your orders. That's what the Nazis said.
What's wrong with you people?
Germany. That's what the secret police of Stalin's Russia said that they were doing, just doing their orders. Well, that's never an excuse to violate.
You proud of your
someone
work here?
else's rights to freedom of speech.
Proud?
Every one of you people here today, your rights have been
Are
violated.
these the bad guys
You picked the
that you've been
wrong
trained to
individual,
apprehend
because I
for
know
passing
what
out
my rights are.
honest
I know
information
what
on a
my
public
rights are,
sidewalk
and
that
I
make
know
you
what
feel
my
like
rights
you're
are
really
not.
doing your duty?
My rights have been violated. I have
Also,
nothing
when
to
he
say
said
to you,
to
sir.
stop, we stopped.
My rights have
But
been
that wasn't
violated,
good
and I
enough.
wish to go along my
When
way.
we said we wanted to leave and
My
get off
rights
the
have been
property,
violated, and
not
I
good
wish to
enough.
go along my way.
These must be some
I have
incredibly
harmed none.
dangerous
I
flyers.
have harmed none.
Me.
Wow. What are you
My
advocating?
wife has harmed
And
none.
the Federal
We were
Reserve.
engaging people in free speech, which is our
Wow.
right to do
The
so.
Federal
And every
Reserve
one
is
of
not
you
the
here
government
with
bank. It's
a
a private
modicum
bank,
of common
and they're
sense
robbing
knows
everyone.
that we are correct.
Well, these guys don't look like a private bank.
No, they're all.
I wish these cuffs be loosened. The blood flow to
Would you
my
say
hands.
these guys are
Being arrested. I am
mercenaries
being actively harmed right
for the
now.
banking
The blood
cartel
flow
right
to my
now?
wrists is
Looks like
being
they are.
arrested.
Yeah.
I need the cuffs to be loosened
working
because
for
the
them,
blood
not the
flow to
people.
my hands is being cut
We
off.
enforce
I
fires
want
on
the
people.
cuffs
We
loosened.
hand it, and if people lose
I want
them,
these cuffs
they-
loosened
people-
now.
Loosen his cuffs.
All of your
Oh,
rights
look
have
at
been
that
violated
dangerous
and continue to be
pamphlets,
violated
Yeah, those are
as we
dangerous.
speak. Every one of your rights are actively being violated as we speak.
Tourists, this is how we operate in this country. We build huge monuments of free speech and don't let people have free speech.
God bless America.
Peace officers across the street, do your duty. Do your duty. Our rights have been violated and you are standing there doing nothing.
I think those are
You are
rent-a-cops.
standing there doing nothing in the cradle of liberty in front of a statue of Thomas Jefferson.
Are they under arrest?
Call a police officer, call
No,
a peace
we're being
officer,
Why are they being
and have them tell us to stop detaining
until
us.
they check our information. They said.
To check to make sure
Every
what?
person here,
Evil
your
criminals,
rights have
I
been
guess.
violated.
Why are they writing tickets?
Every
I don't know.
person
They
here.
said we will.
Well, let's just get these badge numbers. 982. What's your name?
Flyers and stopping when they said
Gonna
to stop.
keep taking violations.
McLeod.
Trying to leave.
At least you're not wearing a black mask.
First Amendment constitutionally protected rights
I mentioned my car.
in the home.
What's
of
your name?
freedom across the
1039.
1039, sir.
Do you need to hide your identity for any reason?
I do not.
Okay, what's your name?
You don't need to know my name.
You're ashamed to be here doing this?
I'm not
Who are
ashamed.
you?
gonna be allowed to stand
You're refusing to identify. 1039. All right.
I'm sorry,
where our founders
718,
fought and
what's your
died to
name?
protect our rights.
What's your name?
Sitting here
Ashamed?
taking.
You should be.
You have no
These guys
right
are doing
to do what
paperwork.
you've done.
419.
No.
What's
Sir,
your
just
name?
Give them a little space until they can
That's why
conduct
none of
their
you will
business,
even
and then you
look
can
at
take
us.
as
What's
much
his
video
name?
footage as
Look
you
at
want.
us.
What's his name?
You can find
You
out
know
after
you're
he's done
wrong.
completing his business, okay?
You know
Well,
you're wrong.
I'm not going to interfere with anybody.
Every one of you
Unlike you guys, I'm a peaceful person. I don't kidnap innocent people.
They're committed a wrong. They are holding us under duress when we have done nothing but peacefully speak to others. I have violated no one else's natural
I only got a
rights.
minute of
None.
movie.
No other was harmed
Okay,
by me.
you can take more video.
Witnesses that can testify to that fact, who saw what occurred.
Get those printed papers out.
We have harmed none.
Felicia.
These gentlemen have no right to keep us here. None.
Give him some
215.
space, please, otherwise
Your
you're going to
rights
be
are
interfering
being
with him,
violated.
I
okay?
am giving him space, and obviously I'm not interfering. So why don't you give me some
You are
space?
too close to his firearm.
Well,
right
you can
now.
give
Take
me
a
some
step back.
space. You can give me some space.
You have all the space you need.
Stop from doing what they're doing. They have no rights. You haven't the right. You are in the wrong. All of them are in the wrong and have no right to do what they did.
This is kidnapping.
Why do I have to have this?
That's
This
why
is
they're
kidnapping.
They're posturing. Because every one of them knows that they are in the wrong. Every one of them knows that they are in the wrong. Every one of them knows that they are in the wrong.
That's why they won't give their names. They're
Every one
ashamed.
of them knows that they are in the wrong. Every one of them knows that they are in the wrong.
Handing out
Every one of them knows that they are in the wrong.
They said you can't hand out printed
Every one of
material.
them
But I
knows.
get it better if you handed out the Federal Reserve notes.
don't worry about it.
That'd be okay.
Every one of them
If you handed
knows
out money,
that they are in
Federal
the
Reserve
wrong.
notes, that would probably be okay.
Every one
That's
of them
legal.
knows
But
that they
printed
are in the
material
Is this a
is
First
illegal,
Amendment free zone?
Apparently. Unless it's approved
How
by
is First
them.
Amendment free zone?
Yeah.
There's no First Amendment here.
Should I keep handing out flyers?
No.
This cannot be allowed to
I was just
stand.
giving
Well, that's what they
papers.
did, and look what
I was
happened to
giving
them.
paper to people that wanted it.
isn't it?
Yeah, City of Brotherly Love.
Exercising our First
So
Amendment.
that means that the people that took the papers are also
Free
wrong
speech.
because they took
Engaging
them on
others
their own will.
with peaceful
I
speech.
didn't force
And we
anyone
were
to take
accosted.
anything.
Our rights were
There you
violated,
go.
and we are
I didn't
actively
force
being held
anyone
here.
to take
Yeah, and you're a petty tyrant.
Under duress, and no one is doing anything
Trying
about
to
it.
help him out, that's all.
You're just a pet. You just take orders from a petty
I insist to be allowed
tyrant.
to go on my way as I have harmed no others' natural rights.
Why?
You
Oh,
have
they
no-
won't say,
I want
because
to
they're
know,
ashamed.
What reason do I have to be detained here? No one can give me a reason.
The truth.
I have harmed no one else.
The truth.
Therefore, no one has a right to keep me here against my will. I am being kept here against my will.
It's called kidnapping.
We are being kept here against our will.
Yeah.
We are being kept here against our will when these gentlemen have no right to keep us here against our will. We were peacefully engaged in free speech in the home of freedom, where the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence were written and signed. We were exercising our natural rights to free speech with other individuals when we were stopped, accosted, and our rights were violated against our will. We were doing nothing but peacefully speaking to other people in front of Independence Hall. You have no right to stop us. You had no right to keep us here.
Let them go!
No right to keep us here.
Let them go! 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 Let them go!
Let them go, brothers. Come on, let them go. They didn't do anything. Witness to it. They didn't do anything. They didn't harm anybody.
He's advising them of his violations. Okay.
Violations are not arrest.
It's not an arrest. It's not an arrest.
Bullshit. When you put handcuffs on somebody, it's an arrest.
It's not an arrest.
I'm sorry. Well, it's a kidnapping. That's what it is. If I put handcuffs on you, what would you call it?
Yeah, that's right.
You call it assault. You call it kidnapping.
S&M. It's called S&M.
City of brotherly love. All right. What do you think you get extra rights because you've got a badge? Well, what if I wanted to put handcuffs on you because I didn't like the information you were distributing?
The thing is, today is this night, tomorrow is us. For what reason? This is us. What are you teaching the kids? I don't understand this. Like today it's him, tomorrow it's us because we may say something and not agree with something someone else says.
That's right.
I'm not understanding this. This is children are watching this. This is what you're teaching. My children's great-grandfather was a signer on the Declaration of Independence. Robert Tree Payne, and you're teaching these kids we just came to look at this, that this is how we treat people who have a different freedom of speech?
Yep, pretty much.
I don't understand this.
Well, you know what? Our children are getting an education today.
A sad, very sad one, because if they don't wake up, this is what they're going to do to us. For what? If we say something we don't agree with?
Yeah. That's what they do.
That is crazy.
It's called thought police.
Well, now I'm free to go. They've decided it's time I can go.
Did they charge you with a crime?
Apparently, I was interfering with agency function and failure to obtain a permit, which I believe the group probably has a permit. Who knows? I don't even know that.
Since when do we need a permit
I don't know.
to exercise our freedom of speech?
Apparently, since these violent officials decided so.
Are you okay?
I'm okay, but my arms are in pain.
Are you okay?
My legs are asleep.
Yeah, I want my
and
flyer
my
so I can
freedom
continue
is not
to engage
okay.
people.
Well, who stole your property?
They stole it. Those people.
Which of you stole his property?
Right
Return
there,
the stolen property right now.
Which property are you referring
Who's got his stolen property? The papers that he had. I thought we're supposed to be secure in our persons and our papers.
Apparently not.
Who stole them?
This one here.
Which guy? That guy?
This one with the cat.
You, with the stolen property. Could you please return that?
Sir, it's evidence.
Evidence of what? Evidence of First Amendment?
About their case. So
these violations.
Why do you need all of that? You can't even look anyone in the eye. It's not even human beings.
Go home and tell your kids what you did here today. Go ahead.
A bunch of robots.
Go ahead.
No soul. Well-trained dogs.
Just following orders.
We now have an update after the state threw away thousands of dollars in raw milk. Now, this happened on a Cass County dairy farm.
Representatives from the Michigan Department of Agriculture and Rural Development, or MDARD, were back at the farm today to dispose of more products.
13 Your Side's newest member, Callie Lichter, tells us how much money the farm operators think they lost.
This morning, 2 staff from MDARD came to Nourish Cooperative to oversee the disposal of the rest of the raw dairy products into this dumpster that you see behind me. Now, speaking to a manager at the cooperative, she estimates that they lost about $90,000 worth of product, but are still waiting on that official number from the department.
But they came on that day with a cease and desist letter already printed out.
Nourish co-founder Ashley Armstrong says there were some issues with the labels on the raw dairy product, but that it was taken care of by their team.
And yet we still were told it's illegal to sell raw dairy as pet food, and all of it had to be destroyed.
Since there was not enough room in the dumpster, MDARD came out for a third time Thursday to dispose of the rest of the product. MDARD says with limited exception, raw dairy products are not allowed to be sold in the state. Armstrong doesn't agree with that interpretation.
That I can drive to a pet food store throughout the state of Michigan and buy raw goat milk. So I'm a little bit confused as to why we can't.
Armstrong says they applied for a pet food license this past March, and MDARD says they worked with Nourish to get them properly licensed to sell human and animal foods.
So everything else is fine to sell now. Like that's what it's just funny that like they say, okay, it's good now. Everything is good except for the raw dairy. But I don't think that we are going to be able to sell raw dairy based on what they're telling us.
Starting as a startup last September, Nourish says the regulations, like ones on raw dairy, hurt small-scale farming.
I wish that there weren't as many like really tight, stringent regulations that make it really hard to do that, because the regulations allow for larger farms, big agriculture companies to really take hold of certain food industries.
Now, in a statement earlier this week to 13 on Your Side, MDARD did say that they are working with Nourish to help them get into compliance with regulatory requirements.